are you going to go for the salmon? Being a Scotsman.
Fighting chance, I'll go for the salmon.
Exactly the correct answer.
Thank you, Andrew.
Correct answer. Right, cooking next is one of Scotland's finest chefs and the holder of 2 Michelin stars for his restaurant inside the luxurious Gleneagles Hotel. It's the fabulous Mr. Andrew FAIRLEE. Great to have you on the show. So, on the menu is squab pigeon. I know you want to get straight on and do that.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that.
And we'll describe what it is in a second.
I'm going to take these legs off.
Now, squab, the actual squab itself is described as a young sort of game birdie sort of thing, but
this one is actually farmed. It's much more tender than the wood pigeon.
Right.
Which normally wood pigeon I would cook slowly, I'd braise it. But this for me is much more tender, much more flavour.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep all that for my sauce. So I'm just going to break this.
So you actually just remove the crown off then?
Yeah, just take the crown off. I'm just going to remove this wishbone. It just makes, taking the wishbone out, poultry, if you're going to carve it, just makes it much easier.
Now, the reason why we're rushing on this bit, because we actually want to get this on. So I'm going to toast off the spices, which are?
Which are we got? Cinnamon, cloves, coriander, and we got some 4 spice in there as well.
1 second. A bit of salt and a bit of
sauce.
Black pepper. A whole lot gets put into our blender.
So, very hot pan. I just want to brown the skin of the breast. I get that straight in the oven. So, once James is on there, just season that inside and out. While he's doing that,
it's not one of yours.
Carry on, Andrew. No, he's not.
So I'm just going to chop. I'll just get it in. We'll do the spice later. So I'm going to chop these bones, which I'm going to use for the sauce.
Come on!
Turn it on.
Right.
Okay, bones in as well.
We've got some spare stuff here.
Okay, so that's the ground spice. Over there like that. So you get it straight in the oven.
Right, straight in the oven.
Have a James Martin spice blend.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Right, next. It's in now. Right.
This is James' breakdance moves from last week.
Just carry on, otherwise I'll leave you to it.
Please don't do that.
Exactly.
Okay, so what I'm going to do with the legs, I'm going to confit these. Normally what would happen is that people would normally use them for the sauce or make stock or whatever. But it's classic confit as you would do for duck or salmon or anything else nowadays. So I've got some salt in there.
Yeah.
Some garlic. I'm also going to put some juniper berry in this as well.
Now, confit, you'd normally confit the legs to keep it nice, to get them nice and tender, wouldn't you?
Yeah, to get it really tender. And then what we're going to do is just crisping these up in the pan at the very end. So what we're going to have is a contrast between the breast, nice and pink, and then the confit leg once it's been marinating.
Now, you guys have got something in common, you two, you and Simon, because you're both Roux scholars.
That's right. Well,
you're the first one.
I was the very first one. Simon was
2003.
2003?
Yeah,
2003?
Andy's a granddaddy. We all look up to him.
Not you would know that, looking at Simon and I.
Yeah. Well, yeah, pink shirt makes you look younger.
And of course, I'm judging on it now. And it is like the ultimate competition, isn't it, really, for
I mean,
chefs?
when you look at some of the chefs that have come through the scholarship now, I mean, some of the best chefs in the country are coming through it now. I have to say the competition is probably harder now than it was when I first started. Or the quality is certainly better.
A lot harder.
Since Simon and I won it, it was much.
Right, there's a sink in the back there if you want to wash your hands.
Okay, I'll do that.
It's got a food blender in it, but don't worry about that. But it does launch a chef's career, and you get to, have work experience in any restaurant you want, really.
Yep, any 3-star Michelin restaurant. Well, when Simon and I won it, it was just
Europe.
In France.
Oh, mine was Europe.
You were Europe?
Yeah, I went to Spain, yeah.
I got the cheaper version, I got France.
Yeah.
Right. So, confit the legs, we just got some duck fat in there.
Yeah.
Which we're going to warm. And I have some
So those legs, not if you're doing duck, it's 24 hours, but these, I take it's a lot less.
These, an hour is plenty for that. You can see already the flesh is firmed up. It's taken on the seasoning from the garlic, the juniper, the bay leaf. So then we're just going to pop them into the fat, and that we would just have them slowly cooking away there.
There's the tail gone in.
Probably for about an hour. Okay, so this is the green kale. So the bones, so what we're going to do is make a...
Forgot about that.
That's some pork.
Yeah.
Just going to flame that.
Now
And
he's just showing
cooked
off.
legs.
And then now you're just showing off with fireworks and everything else.
So they were just gently cooking fat. You don't boil it, do you? You just literally...
No, just keep it around about 80 degrees is perfect. Leave them there for an hour, and then you can preserve them. So what we've got here is some that we did earlier this morning.
Yeah.
So I say that's a duck fat set. So I'm just going to put them skin side down in there. But you can keep them in the fat generally for either a couple of weeks or 6 months if you want.
There you go. And this comes out. This is the tail.
So
Now tell us about Glen Eagles then, because I visited there the first time earlier this year, and I actually just thought it was a hotel with a golf club. It's a complex. It's everything, isn't it? Really?
it's a huge resort. I mean, people think Glen Eagles Hotel is a little country house hotel in the north of Scotland, but no, it's massive. We've got the Ryder Cup coming in 2014, which is a huge event.
Yep.
So no, it's got everything. The mountain biking, falconry. It's got one of the best spas in the UK. So what I'm going to do here, I've got some seps, and we've got some of the best wild mushrooms in the country. So I'm just going to put them on to roast.
Yeah.
I've also got here some what they call pied de mouton, or hedgehog mushrooms. Again, these all grow around the golf course. And
Hedgehog mushrooms.
Hedgehog mushrooms.
Right.
I've cleaned these up. They've got little hairs on the bottom that I've just scraped off. They're a little bit bitter, so just clean them off.
Andy, why don't they call them sheep's foot?
Sheep's foot.
You know, as a direct translation.
Pied de mouton.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe they look like sheep's feet or something.
Yeah.
It's good enough reason to say that, yeah. Right, we've got our
I'm
little
sure
legs
somebody
here.
will write in and correct me.
Now, you've got the legs. They just want colour in, is that right? Just
Yeah,
done now.
just so the skin is nice and crispy.
Yep. I'll leave those to one side for you.
That's fine.
Now, the little squab, would you cook all game like that? Particularly the ones that the way you're cooking this pigeon?
Yeah, you can do. With game birds as well, what people tend to do is just get rid of the legs because they're sinewy and, you know, there's not much fat in them.
Yeah.
But I like to cook them like that, so we can serve the whole leg, but I love the texture of the confit leg.
Right. Right,
And
just
just
got a sauce happening here.
Sauce
I'll go check on the... That looks pretty good to me. It's at about 5.5 minutes.
5.5.
Another 30 seconds. Don't forget that all today's CD recipes, including this one for Andrew, on our website. Go to bbc.co.uk/Saturday Kitchen. And you can find dishes from our previous shows at bbc.co.uk/recipes. Right, I'm going to take this sauce and I'm going to pass it through there and reduce that down for you.
So the seps and the hedgehog mushrooms, we're just going to cook them down. And then the blanched quail that you did, James, I'm just going to mix that together. And let me have a look at this squab.
Bring that one down for you. I'll take that one out of the oven for you. There you go.
Okay, that's fine. Let me just take that off and then rest it.
There you go.
So again, with most birds, we're going to leave that to rest, just so we don't lose too much juice.
Yep.
Okay, so you see that's the seps and the mushrooms starting to roast there. So that'll have a beautiful nutty flavour.
Now, the kale I've cooked, you just blanch this, yeah?
Yep.
Yep.
Just blanch it, and then we're just going to finish cooking it. See the nice colour of the mushrooms there? So just going to put some kale into there. Again, I'm like you, a little bit of butter. A bit more.
A little bit more, exactly, you see?
But since when did a little?
He's coming back, Simon. He said that's the way to do it.
Okay, so we're just going to give that a minute while that sauce reduces.
Right. Right, we're ready.
Get rid of this.
Let's go. sauce is ready. I'll get that on the plate for you.
Okay, so I'm just going to take
I'll
this
leave you to
mushroom
do that.
down.
I'll get everything else ready for you.
Okay, brilliant. So I'm just going to cut down the centre bone there. So you can see we're taking the wishbone out. It's much easier to carve the bird. Just pull that off.
Yeah. Do you want that flashing again?
Yeah, give it a second. Probably another minute in the oven would have been perfect. I'm just going to take that off. Just
You got to look after that while you can plate up. So,
okay. Let me just take that wing bone off. That one. Okay, perfect.
And you want some of this, just this powder?
Yeah, just season it a little bit with some more spice. Just keep some of that.
Over the top.
Sips as a garnish on the side.
Is that ready for you?
So there's the crispy legs, spiced breasts.
And the sauce is done. There's a spoon.
Perfect, thank you.
There you go. It's all seasoned ready.
Okay, so there's our pork sauce.
And of course, game is such a predominant part of your menu, but especially Scottish menus now, as it comes into season.
This is us now getting properly into the game season. Grey leg partridge, roast grouse,
So remind us what the rest again?
wild duck. So here we have the roast squab, the spices, confit leg, wild mushrooms and curlicue.
I told you he was a genius. I have to say, it looks fantastic. I know it tastes fantastic because I had it for breakfast this morning.
Wow,
Dive
Sarah.
into that. I don't know where you start, really.
Thank you. Yeah, where do you suggest?
The 20 quids with the mushrooms or wherever. But
Yeah, now I know what you do at golf courses. You just go around picking the
go around
mushrooms.
picking mushrooms, but it tastes
Wow.
delicious.
Still
But like you say, all game you can do, like a particularly feathered game,
Yep.
do it that way. Confit the legs, it's a great way of actually doing it.
Yep, confit the legs, just roast the breast, nice and simple. But I think the spice at the end just gives it that little bit of autumnal seasoning to
It
it.
really does.
Spice is great if you've got a blender to do it with. You're not getting any of this, it's coming down this way. Let's go back to Bristol, see what Peter has chosen to go with Andrew's perfect pigeon. I'm diving in.
Wow.
Anjou's squab is an autumnal blockbuster with an all-star cast of ingredients. It's deliciously meaty and full-flavoured, which means we're definitely in red wine territory. But it's really important that the red isn't too heavy and instead refreshes the palate between mouthfuls. Otherwise, it might all get a bit too much. Now, two great varieties that work really well with autumnal gamey flavours are Syrah and Pinot Noir. So you could go for a Crow's Hermitage or this lovely, extra special Marlborough Pinot Noir from New Zealand. But I found something that's a little bit different. Not only does it work brilliantly well, it's also amazing value for money. It is the wonderful Mayu Sangiovese from the Elqui Valley in Chile. Sangiovese is the classic grape variety of the Chianti region in Italy, but it doesn't often make great wines elsewhere. And yet, this wonderful Chilean Sangiovese is like Chianti with a suntan and a seriously laid-back attitude. It's the kind of wine that does need to go with food because it has Sangiovese's typical wildness and rusticity. It's almost chewy in style, but that's going to work really well with the game and the ceps in the dish. It's a fresh, lifted style, and we need that to cut through the richness of the confit meat and the pork and pick up on the tanginess of the juniper berries. And finally, there's a lovely herbal quality here, which will work really well with the thyme and the bay and the coriander. So, Andrew, it's a seasonal triumph of a dish, and here is a great value autumnal red to go with it.
Is it? We know it's great value.
It's perfect, actually.
Yeah.
Not too much tannin, great acidity to it, great with the spice. So, no.
I actually can't believe this is a fiver, to be honest. I can't believe it.
It's
What do you
really,
reckon?
Yeah, it's a really nice red, and I promise I didn't eat all of that.
Yes, you did. It's not moved anyway.
I did pass it down.
What do you reckon, guys?
It's a lovely one.
Yeah,
Absolutely
nice.
stunning, yeah.
No, you've actually tried a little bit of that.
Yeah.